Hello. I'm not quite back into my normal work routine yet. I'm still struggling a little bit with energy and pain, but I've just passed the 6 weeks post-op mark. Um, so my exercises are now more challenging and asking me to do more, and much to my relief, I found I can. But I'm still having to husband my energy because my body hasn't healed completely. And I was really, really struggling with this concept that my body still needs time to heal, because I was thinking, oh, come on, it's 6 weeks, the healing should have completed by now. And then I suddenly had a thought, and this just shows that even people who are supposedly quite intelligent and have a reasonable amount of wisdom can miss the obvious. I suddenly thought, my scar on the outside still hasn't completely healed. It's a lot better than it was, and I'm treating it with massaging it twice a day with bio oil to help the scar heal quicker. But there's still a very obvious red mark there, and there are still little lumps and bumps where the staples went. So I've still got very obvious scars, and I suddenly thought, hang on a minute. If the scar hasn't healed on the outside, that probably means the scars haven't healed on the inside either. And I kind of sat there and went, oh, of course, how could you have been so stupid? But that has got me thinking about the whole issue of scars on the inside, because there are so many of us who carry scars on the inside. They can be physical. You had your appendix out years ago, and every so often you get a twinge where it used to be. Or anyone who's unfortunately had to have an amputation will, or even if you haven't, but you may know that people who've had body parts amputated can feel phantom pain in the bit that's gone, because the nerves still react as if the body part was there. So scars on the inside are very common, but as well as being physical, they can be mental, and they can be caused by really traumatic things. Soldiers who come back from the combat zones with PTSD are massively scarred psychologically on the inside. Anyone who has suffered abuse as a child or abuse as an adult, which they felt unable to stop, that will give a scar on the inside. Even things like a major diagnosis of a major illness like cancer, or dealing with divorce or a bereavement, can leave scars on the inside that you don't show to the world. Or in some cases, you do show them to the world without realizing what you're doing. The best example of that is the woman or the man who has gone through a relationship breakup that they felt wasn't their fault, that, the other person really wronged them. that they makes them feel that the opposite sex can't be trusted. And they will show their scars every time they try to interact with a member of the opposite sex. It will come out in the way they treat them, in the way they interact with them, that I'm not quite sure you can be trusted. So, scars on the inside, whether physical or mental, can be hugely, hugely debilitating and life limiting. Because if you've got it fixed in your mind that, you know, if you're a woman and you got it fixed in your mind that no man can be trusted, you are very much limiting your life opportunities. And that's why it's important to understand if you might have scars on the inside, because just as I'm using oil on my external scar, so the exercises and the rest that I give my body when I feel tired are helping the scars on the inside to heal. And you can do the same with psychological scars. You can give yourself the care, the love, and the attention that you need to help heal those scars when you realise that you've got them. And that really is the key thing, to recognise that I've got a scar on the inside and that's what's holding me back. Now, this is an analogy I've used before and I make no apology for using it again because it's beautiful. I want you to think about a boat sailing on the water. And to stay afloat, that boat needs ballast to hold it upright. And sometimes memories and past events and the way you interpret those past events can be the ballast that holds you upright as you sail through life. But sometimes, if they're oppressive memories and you really can't deal with them, they become more like an anchor. And an anchor holds you in one place. So this video is for anyone who feels stuck with a certain set of repeating negative thoughts or negative repeating events, whether it's you can't shift memories of a past trauma, or whether it's you can't, shift your thinking away from, no man is trustworthy to, well, that man wasn't trustworthy, but that doesn't mean all men are untrustworthy. And you need to shift your thoughts away from that repeating pattern so that you can move forward. Now, there are a number of different techniques that can be used. And next week, if I'm assuming I'll be doing a video next week, my next video, I may well demonstrate a technique called the emotional freedom technique, which is really good at helping you break these patterns of thoughts and realise that, you know what, I'm not that bad and maybe there's a different way of looking at things. But for today, I want to talk about mindfulness. And why mindfulness is so helpful is because being mindful literally means being aware. It means being aware of the thoughts that are going on in your head. And when you're aware that there's a repeating thought going on in your head, and when you are aware that that thought is holding you back, that can be the spur to help you utilize some of the attributes that are so useful in mindfulness. Now, the first of these that I would suggest to you is acceptance. Acceptance of what is. Because not everything that's going on in your life is under your control. If you have no control, really all you can do is say, okay, I don't like this, but I can't change it, so I'm going to stop stressing about this. I'm just going to let it rest and focus on things that I can change. But another really useful attribute is to have an open and curious mind, or sometimes called beginner's mind. And this involves treating everything as if you were doing it for the first time. Now, I'm very big on new starts, and because I'm 6 weeks post-op, today is a big new start for me. I've had a bath. I've washed my hair properly for the first time in 6 weeks, and boy, do I feel good. Anything can be a new start. A new start happens actually when you decide, do you know what, that way of thinking isn't helping me, I'm going to change it. And it's called a beginner's mind because when you are learning something new, whether it's riding a bike, playing the piano, learning to paint, learning to draw, learning a new language, whatever you're learning to do, you accept that if you've not done it before, you're going to make mistakes. And unless you're very, very unusual and a total perfectionist, when you're learning a new skill, you accept that you're going to make mistakes. And so you don't give up at the first mistake and think, oh, I'm no good at this, I'm never going to try it again. And that's what I invite you to do if you realise you've got repeating thoughts that are symbols of a scar that you carry on the inside. When you notice you're having one of those repeating thoughts, take a deep breath and see if you can find a different way to frame that thought. If it's, I can't trust any man, frame it as, well, that man was untrustworthy, but that doesn't mean all men can't be trusted. If it's relating to something that happened in the past, accept that it happened in the past and you can't change it. And try and use this as a way to reframe things going forward so that you can change the conversation that you have with yourself about it. And that's where EFT can be really helpful. But if nothing else, I want you right now, take a deep breath in, let that breath out slowly. And as you breathe out, just relax. Settle down into your chair or your bed. Close your eyes if you want to. And I want you to repeat, I am lovable. I deserve compassion. I am lovable. I don't have to be trapped by these past memories. I am lovable. I deserve to care for myself. I am lovable. I can change this. Relax, keep your eyes closed, open them, whatever you want to do. I've got a little bit more talking to do. One very simple technique that you can use to give yourself a different perspective is to imagine what a best friend or someone whose advice you value would say to you if you told them how you were feeling. And they would probably say to you exactly what I've just told you, to tell yourself, look, don't define yourself by that. You're lovable. You matter. And so if you've decided that today's the day you're going to make a new start, well done you. Don't beat yourself up if you don't get it right first time. Just don't give up on yourself, because trust me, you are worth taking the effort over. Now, I'm not going to commit to when I'm going to be back videoing again. I haven't actually been able to commit totally to when I'm going to be back running my sessions again. I've got tentative start dates, but I had tentative start dates last week, which I this week felt I had to abandon. I know I need to give myself time to recover, because if I'm not fit and I'm not well, then A, the sessions are going to drain me an awful lot, and B, because I'm drained, they're not going to be as beneficial to those people who are trying to get benefit from the session. So, you know, it's not me being selfish, it's me recognising that I put an awful lot of my own personal energy into what I do, and I need to conserve that. So I'm not going to commit to when I'm going to do another video. But if anything I've said has resonated with you, and you think you'd like to know more about the emotional freedom technique, message me. Or you can just look online. There's loads of videos about EFT. If you're kind of curious about mindfulness and you'd like to know more about that, DM me. I'm very happy to arrange one-to-one sessions by video, so I haven't got to travel, because I still find travel tiring. I'm very happy to arrange one-to-one sessions by video, and you can have a half-hour session for a donation of whatever you can afford. All I ask is a donation of £1. You can pay more if you want to and if you can afford it, but that's all I'm asking, because accessible well-being for all. I don't want anyone to feel that they can't benefit from the things I'm offering by lack of time or a lack of money. So there you are. Take care of yourself. Remember that you matter. And whoever or wherever you are, I acknowledge that divine human, that divine part of your humanity that means that we are so much more alike than there are things that we differ on. Namaste.